Hey there. Well, it's been a mixed week this week. Some good and some not so good. I guess that's what life's a bit like, isn't it? Anyway, firstly, I'm going to apologise for my hair. Mick has always preferred, not just me, but I think women with long hair. It's quite traditional, I think I mentioned before. Um, but I'm not precious about hair, so I've decided to grow it a bit and see how we get on. So I'm at that stage at the moment where it's a bit messy. So you're going to see it grow out over the coming episodes. So you'll have to take me as you find me. Anyway, as I say, it has been a mixed week, both in our lives and with the weather because I don't know about you, but I find that the weather really in fact impacts my mood. Are you the same? Just impacts on my mood such a lot. So I have managed to get out for a walk most days this week, either getting out early enough to miss the rain or a little bit later, so I miss the rain that way. Some days I have got a little bit damp, but that's okay. I almost got blown away on a couple of occasions. It's been so windy, and my walking shoes, I think they're being held together by mud now because it's so muddy up in the woods. So you may have noticed actually when I started this diary, I was going to early morning strength trainings at 6 o'clock, but now I'm not. I like the thought of it, and I know it's really good for you to do strength stuff. And I think, there was some internal, I think my visceral fat has improved and my muscle mass has improved. But I was really struggling. I was getting up at 5:20 in the morning, and I'm not an early to bed person, so it's like 5 hours sleep. Um, but really, the main reason is that I've never felt so weak in my life. I thought I was going to strength training to get stronger. Um, but actually, I've never felt as injured as I have since going to these sessions. So I've done it for nearly 6 months, and in the end, I just thought this is ridiculous. So I have stopped. And do you know what? I'm really pleased because actually, it's only been what 2 or 3 weeks since I stopped, and I already feel so much better. Some of the injuries that I've got started to calm down. I'm sleeping better. So a decision I'm very happy with. Do you know what? In life, sometimes we have to do these things. We have to give them a try, and then we have to make a decision about whether it's working for us or not. And on this occasion, it's not. So, but I love walking in the woods because I often get to see people that I now know. There are dogs in the woods that now run to me because they know who I am. I get some really good cuddles from a couple of them. There's an older man that I met in the woods, and I probably met him 3 years ago now, Andy. And I often meet him when we're out and about. And when we do, we stop and then we walk the rest of the way together. There's a lady who walks with her friends out there, and we always stop to have a chat. And I've had a few warm hugs from her as well because I'm a hugger, she's a hugger, so that works for both of us. But generally it's been quite miserable this month. It's a leap year, so we had an extra day, but it was a wet day, so it was an extra wet day. Thanks very much. And I do have thoughts about moving to the live in the sun. And I think Mick has those thoughts as well. But with his medical condition, with his needs, and actually with the fact that he doesn't really want to move from this house, that's going to have to wait. And we do have a lovely house. We've completely redesigned this house to meet his needs. But it doesn't look like a disabled home. I mean, we've got chrome grab bars, we've got wider doors, but they look really nice. So it doesn't look disabled, but it gives him everything he needs. Fantastic wet room that we've got. Um, I mean, that was quite a stressful process in itself because we did actually get really ripped off by a builder, but that's a story for another time. Anyway, some good stuff. Even though Mick is currently bald at the moment due to the chemo and he really hates being bald, the upside is that he hasn't had to shave for weeks now. I think the last shave was using an electric shaver, which I broke. And that was 5 or 6 weeks ago. It was when he was still in hospital. So that's good. He hasn't had to bother with that. He's also emptied the dishwasher twice this week, which is quite an achievement for him, because it's a lot of bending and lifting, and he's not good at that with his mobility. And he's been so tired and so drained that he hasn't been able to even think about doing it. But this week he's done it twice, so that's really good to see him fit enough to do that. We had a call with the consultant this week, so we went for bloods on Sunday, so a little trip out of the house again. We went for bloods on Sunday, and then we had a call from the consultant on Tuesday, and the results are all good. really good. So his bloods are on their way back to normal. The cancer's in remission for the moment, and his kidneys are stable. And this is all really good news, because this means that the decision that we made to go through with this extra stem cell transplant was definitely a good one. Um, and it's given him that extra time. So, you know, all of these things are helping him get that extra bit of life. Without it, you know, the cancer wouldn't go into remission. So so it's really, really good, and it's definitely something for us to be celebrating this week. Not that he really feels much like it, because he's still recuperating from the stem cell transplant, but you know, it is really good news. So the not so good things are that they want to put him on chemo tablets, which will probably be forever. It's what they call maintenance treatment, and it should help actually, you know, get that extra 2 years in conjunction with the stem cell transplant. The problem is that, you know, the chemo tablets, even though we don't have to go into the hospital and have transplants and bags, you know, that they hang, it's only tablets, so it's convenient, but they still are chemo, they still are toxic, and they still give you side effects. So, you know, these particular drugs, he said, has extreme fatigue is a side effect, which he already gets from his MS anyway. Constipation, so more bowel issues, and nausea, which is never nice. So I guess he'll take the tablets. We don't start them for another month, but I say we. You'll have to excuse me when I say we, because it really does feel like we, but obviously it's Mick that's taking all the tablets. And we'll see how it goes. He'll take them for a while, and he'll see how it goes, and then he's got some decisions to make depending on how he feels on them, really. The other thing is that they told him they want to do another bone marrow biopsy, which is the most painful thing ever. It's where they get a little apple core and they dig into the bone in your hip. And all they give you is gas and air if you want it, which is not really enough. And a female doctor once told us that it was the equivalent to childbirth. Now, neither of us know anything about that, but all I know is that Mick has a very high pain tolerance. He deals with pain very easily, but even he screams into a pillow whenever he's had these before. So that's one of the things we'll have to go through. But the appointment letter has arrived, and the appointment isn't till the 29th of April. So we're not going to worry about that just yet. And that's the way this life works now. We don't worry about things until we need to. So what else? And not so good is that it was quite a crappy week. After 3 days of no poo incidents at all, we had 2 in one day, and then same the following day. And it just really makes him feel like shit. See what I did there? Anyway, I do feel really sorry for him. So I just clean it up and I don't make a fuss. But do you know, it's hard, because on the outside, I absolutely don't want him to worry about it. And a lot of the time, I just think, oh God, it's just a bit of poo, just get on with it. But sometimes it does impact on me. And there are times where inside I'm shouting, you know, why me? Why is this happening? And this isn't about him. This is absolutely not about him. He can't help it. It's just the whole situation. And there are times like that when I do hate my life. And there are times when I'm very resentful that this has happened to me, because it's hard being a carer. Firstly, it's really hard watching your previously capable, strong, and independent man become a shadow of his former self. That is really sad to watch. And secondly, it's hard to accept the life that I now have, which is not the life that I wanted or expected to have. And I've had to make huge compromises and have settled for a very sedentary life, not a very active life. And so it is hard. And so if you're going through that, then I completely empathize with you. But we do have to put it into perspective. And when I feel down about it, I give myself a break. I say it's okay to feel down about it. I always remind myself that it could be worse, because actually there is so much that he can still do, and he doesn't need me to do all, you know, some things for him. But the biggest thing for me is when I feel down like that, I am just so grateful that I'm not him. And that is what really gets me through, to be honest. So you know, that has happened to me a couple of times this week, where just moment for moment or a moment you think, oh goodness sake. But you know, I'm a practical person, and there's no point, is there? What's the point in wallowing in it? There isn't any, because it's only me that suffers from that, and I get miserable about it. And I don't want to be miserable. I want to be upbeat and enjoy what I have got, because there is so much to be grateful for. And, you know, there were some great things this week as well. So I did get out for dinner with some friends this week, which was lovely. It was a really cheap and cheerful meal, but actually pretty good. And it was about the company anyway. It was about getting out and talking to people. And I do try and do that. I try and get out every week for at least a coffee with somebody else, because it's healthy for me to have my own time and my own social life, and it helps deal with those moments where where you feel down. Anyway, another good thing that I'm really proud of is that I have not eaten any sugar for 5 days, 5 whole days. So I made a decision, because I really am a sugar addict, and it's really been pissing me off, because I'm an all or nothing kind of person. So I'm having to go for nothing. Um, I just always feel so rubbish when I eat the sugar, even though I love eating it. And um, I spend so much energy thinking about it that I just don't want to be doing that. So I've gone with nothing. So I've got my own rules, because it has to work for me. So it's no sweets, no chocolate, and no biscuits. They're the things that I generally can't stop once I start. They're the things that I know impact on me. There are other things that are okay. So I'm happy to eat the odd cake, the odd packet of crisps, because these things don't lead to cravings for me. I don't eat one packet of crisps and immediately want another, or one cake and eat another. One is enough. And I only have them occasionally because I'm not that bothered about them. So, I don't want to be a party pooper. I don't want to spoil, if I go out for coffee with a friend, I'll have a toasted tea cake. If my mum and dad come around, we'll have a cake. That is fine. Because they're things that are okay for me. And it will only be occasionally. I'll be lucky if that's once a fortnight or something, eating something like that. So that's okay. And I just know I feel so much better. So I've stopped it 5 days now. And one of my other incentives is that I'd really love to lose close to a stone before I go on my cruise, which is in June. So doable? I think so. I think so. It's the end of June. I don't know how many weeks it is, but it's over 3 months. So I think I should be able to do that. Anyway, we'll see, won't we, in the coming weeks, how successful my sugar abstinence is. And actually, do you know what? It's great to have you to hold me to account and keep me on track. So thank you for that. And the final good thing about this week is that the Formula One season starts again. It's in Bahrain, and due to various factors, the race is on a Saturday, which means that we're sitting down this afternoon, which is Friday, to watch qualifying, which is a really nice way to end the week. And it'll be interesting to see where everybody's performance is. And we just really hope that somebody gives Max Verstappen a run for his money this year. There was news that Lewis Hamilton is moving to Ferrari next year, which is really exciting, but that's a whole year away. So we've got all of this to enjoy this year. So anyway, I don't want to bore you too much with F1 talk, but it is great for Mick because he loves it, and it gives him 24 weekends of enjoyment. Anyway, so I'm off to watch qualifying now. Don't forget to subscribe and make any comments. Let me know what you want to hear about, and I'll be back shortly.